Our last chunk of learning is around using an iPad. Now, this is completely optional, and maybe it's something you want to try out after a couple weeks and add a new novelty, but these are the two components you would need: an iPad that you can check out from your building's teacher librarian, and an iPad stand. This is the link to the one that we suggest, and you can work with your building admin to make that purchase. Now, let's start by looking at best practices for the iPad. Now, the purpose of the iPad is to be an eyeball into your classroom. It will not be joining the audio, it's just an eyeball, and it's going to be great for anything that is analog. It's on wheels, so you can roll it over to your number corner. It has a gooseneck, so you can bend it to look at student work, and it's also telescoping. So if you do have a time when you have students sitting on the carpet, it can be low and at that perspective as well. Next, we'll make a QR code so you can easily scan it and join your Zoom meeting without having to type any usernames, passwords, or join codes. Now, there's plenty of websites to create a QR code. Here's the one that I used, and all you have to do is paste a link to your Zoom meeting. It's going to automatically then make a QR code, and all you have to do is click the download button and then just be patient while it downloads that image. Now you will see a button that says you can sign up for free, but you don't need to. Just be patient, your image will appear, and then print it and put it somewhere where you can come back to it later. Now, once you've checked your iPad out from your school librarian, you want to make sure that you have the Zoom app on the iPad. Now, these devices are set up for students, not for teachers. So you don't have the App Store, but you have this self-service app, and it's most likely in a folder called Reference. Now, once you open up this app, you'll see lists of all of the different apps that have been pre-approved, and you can download them directly from here. If there is an additional app that you need, please put in a help desk request for that app, and just know that it's going to then be available to all of the devices that were on the cart that your device belongs to. So these should be in alphabetical order, so I'm just going to scroll to the bottom, and I see Zoom, and I'm going to go ahead and install Zoom. So now I'm ready to join the Zoom meeting as a student from the iPad. So I've started Zoom as the teacher on my laptop, and I'm actually going to be opening up the camera app. Not taking a photo, but just looking at the QR code, you'll see at the top it says open in Zoom, and you're going to touch that. When you do, it logs you in with the meeting ID and password. You can name the iPad, so how do you want it to show up in your Zoom meeting? The very first time you use this, it's going to ask, can it use the microphone? Can they send you notifications? And then you're going to pop into the waiting room. You can go ahead to your laptop to let yourself in from the waiting room into the class. And this is a big one here. You want to click dial in. If you use the sound from the iPad, you will have feedback in your classroom. So be sure to click dial in and then hit that cancel button. And now you're in your meeting. So we'll take a quick tour of Zoom on the iPad. At first you'll notice there are no buttons, but just touch the screen and they appear. Now if we go across the top, you can see where you can leave the meeting. You can get the meeting ID number. If you were in a different room, or if you were not on the iPad or on the laptop, you could join audio. You can see stop and stop a video. These should look familiar. And the more button is where you have your chat and some more settings, raise the hand. But what you'll notice in the center of the screen, this is actually the teacher's laptop being shared. And if I want to see what students see from this device, if I'm rolling this around my room and I want to see what they would see at home, you just click the picture of the camera in the bottom corner. And then if you wanted that to be the main screen, just touch the picture of yourself. And now it's the large screen. And you also have the option then of, under the leave button, you can switch your camera. And so now you can see my computer. If I touch that picture, it's going to be the main part of my screen. So you can always go back and forth between those. And there's different views. If I want my gallery view, I can do those sorts of things again. But that's just some basic settings with Zoom on the iPad. So some final tips. When you put the iPad in the stand, make sure that it's in landscape mode. That way it's going to match the shape of the Chromebooks and use most of the screen. Secondly, don't forget to explore that spotlight feature so you have control of what those students in Zoom see. And lastly, remember not to join the audio on the iPad. You're just going to have it be the eyeball, but that external microphone, that MOVO, is going to be what's picking up the sound of your voice or those students in the room. So that concludes our current suggestions on best practices for using technology to meet your needs for simultaneous teaching. Again, we looked at audio options, video options, and the optional addition of using an iPad. Hopefully, you paused and rewound the video as needed, and if you need any additional help, it's a great time to lean on each other. You probably have experts within your building that can help you, and as always, you can submit a help ticket for further support.